Pierre Poilievre does not like the budget that was presented by Philippe Francois Champagne and Mark Carney the other day on November 4th, and he made a pretty good ad exposing Mark Carney, so we're going to have a look at that. Then I have another clip to show you as well. Now, before we get into this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help grow the channel. I appreciate you guys so much for doing that for me. So let's get into it, and then we'll talk about it.
Today, I'm announcing a new approach to how we manage the budget, to spend less and invest more.
We don't call it spending. What we're doing is we're making investments in the future of our countries.
We made a clear commitment to invest in our communities, to invest in Canadians.
That's why our economic plan, it is really at its heart about investing in Canadians.
They expect us to do things differently, so we're going to make generational investments.
Generational investment in our future, Madam Speaker.
Interesting how they tied that into Justin Trudeau's cabinet, right? Justin Trudeau's time as Prime Minister, but yet Mark Carney says things are going to be different. Pierre Poilievre says a liberal budget is a liberal budget is a liberal budget, signed to fix it with amendment for an affordable budget and an affordable Canada. You can do that here. You go to Pierre Poilievre's post, you can click that link and sign it if you want, although the Liberals did just reject their amendment plan. So it looks like the Conservatives are going to vote against the budget. The NDP will probably abstain, giving the Liberals enough power to get it passed anyway, so we won't be having an election, which may sound crazy to some of you. It's a very good thing that we're not having an election because it's too close. Last thing you want is an election where Mark Carney slips in a majority and then we're screwed for 4 years. So just got to be a little bit more patient here. And then here's Pierre Poilievre in Parliament, I believe this was from today, exposing this budget even further. So let's get into this, then we'll talk about that as well.
Well, I congratulate the minister for his first budget speech. It was a very long speech, and given that this government is adding about $10 million to our national debt every single hour, I think we can say that while talk is cheap, it's very expensive when a Liberal finance minister does it. Mr. Speaker, this government is the most expensive in Canadian history. Every dollar the Prime Minister spends comes out of the pockets of Canadians. The more they spend, the more things cost. And that's why Conservatives were calling for an affordable budget, for an affordable life, after Liberals doubled the cost of housing and doubled the lineups at our food banks. Today, the Liberals have introduced the most costly and largest budget deficit in history outside of COVID. The cost of this Liberal budget will drive up the cost of food, housing, and everything else that Canadians buy. And the Prime Minister has broken every single promise he made just 7 short months ago. He promised a $62 billion deficit. He delivered nearly an $80 billion deficit, $16 billion bigger than he promised and twice the size that his predecessor left behind. He promised to lower the debt to GDP ratio. He raised it, and inflation along with it. He promised to spend less. He's spending $90 billion more, costing $5,400 per family in Canada. And that $90 billion, to the Prime Minister's heckles, is above and beyond the promised $16 billion that he says he will one day find. And if he doesn't find them, it will be over $100 billion in brand new spending to respond to the Prime Minister's heckles, Mr. Speaker. He also promised that he would invest more. His own budget document lays out a graph showing that every quarter of this year will see private sector business investment collapse. This costly budget forces Canadians to spend more on debt interest than on health care transfers. Wow. More than the government collects in GST. That means every dollar the Canadians pay in GST will go to bankers and bondholders instead of to doctors and nurses.
Go figure, eh? A banker gets to be Prime Minister of this country, and now all of a sudden bankers are going to make a shitload more money. Who would have ever thought that? I always have said, if you don't trust politicians, that's fine, I hear you. But if you think politicians are untrustworthy, try trusting a banker, which 43% of Canadians decided they were going to do, and now bankers, big corporations, people who make a lot of money who Liberals tend to not like very much, are now going to be making even more, and yet they keep voting for it. Pretty smart, isn't it?
While he raises the industrial carbon tax on farm equipment and fertilizer and therefore food, on steel, concrete, and other industrial projects needed to build homes, a big tax increases on homes and food. Our party wanted an affordable budget for an affordable life. And on behalf of all the Canadians who can no longer afford to eat, heat, or house themselves because of Liberal inflation, we Conservatives cannot support this costly Liberal budget. But there is still time for the Prime Minister to do the right thing. We will put forward an amendment that will transform this policy by making Canada affordable again. It will get rid of the industrial carbon tax, cut the wasteful spending to bring down debt, inflation, and taxes. It will open our country up to opportunity by developing our prodigious resources, clear away bureaucracy to build affordable homes. Mr. Speaker, we want a hopeful future. For our young people, we want homes, jobs, and hope. For our seniors, we want affordability. And we want for all Canadians who work hard to bring back the promise of Canada. Thank you very much.
And the reason I wanted to show you that, by the way, is because I've kind of just had enough with the Liberal prattle, saying the same things over and over again. I was going to show a video of the back and forth, but I was like, you know what? Let's just let someone with common sense speak instead of having to hear Philippe Francois Champagne's voice, the little chihuahua. I mean, it's just, sometimes I have nightmares and I hear that voice. It's just, didn't want to hear him talk today, so that's what I showed you, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, please share this to the young people in your lives, the people who maybe don't vote. Young people vote less than older people. Share it to them. Let's get prepared so that when we do have another election, we have young people showing up in droves to vote for common sense, to vote for change, to vote for a better future, not for some guy who's going to just spend us into poverty while he gets filthy rich. Liberals have always complained about these big corporations, these greedy bankers taking all our money. We're not getting paid enough, rent's too expensive, and then what do? They turn around and they vote for it. So you can get mad at me all you want, Liberals, when I call you stupid. That is not a smart thing to do. And they do it, why? Because they pretend that Pierre Poilievre is like Donald Trump. Sorry. Not sorry. That's really stupid. And there's no defending it anymore. And when bad things happen to people who vote Liberal, financially especially, I do not have any empathy anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm not going to feel bad for people who vote to have their own lives destroyed. End of story.